Hello, everybody. I'm having problems. I think some of you don't understand the problem on the 1 is 0. So I'm going to try to uh, make it clearer, maybe, I hope. So here are hints on the 1 is 0 game. And I'm going to extend the time, too. I won't make it through the day. So here's the idea. We play a game where we roll a die. We, on our turn, can roll as many times as we want. And the payoff for us is the sum of the rolls. Now, the idea would be, I call that one game, but the thing would be now your opponent would play and then a different game, and he gets something, you get something. You probably have a pot in the middle or something. So I get the sum of my rolls. That's the payoff. That's the score of my game. The score of the game is the sum of the rolls. Unless I roll a 1. If I roll a 1, the game is over. And my score, my payoff, is 0. So, as an example, if I rolled 4, 6, 3, and stopped, I get 13. If I rolled 6, 6, 6, 6, and 1, I get 0. I got too greedy. Now, there are many strategies. I'm going to suggest the what? One strategy is to always stop after the first row. In other words, I'm extremely conservative. I'm not even going to try for a second row. Next strategy is to roll at most 2 times. If I get a 1 on the first time, I'm only rolling once. But if not, I'll roll a second time. So this will say, I'm not going to try for the third row. I don't care. I'm not that greedy. If I make it to 2 rows, I'll take whatever I have. Then the next strategy the next one is to row at most 3 times. So if I do not get a row on the first, a 1 on the first row, a 1, not an 11, on the first row, I row a second time. If I do not get a 1 on that row, I row a third time. I stop after the third row. I guess I should have put up here, I stop after the second row. Now, I might call these pure strategies. In other words, they're simple to implement. There are other strategies that people might use, but I'm not asking you to do those. What I'm saying now is, what is the best of the, what is the average score a person would get using one of these strategies? And how am I going to do it? I'll play 10,000 games for the strategy 1 and print the average. The average score. Now, roughly speaking, it's going to be probably about 2 or 3. It's not going to be very high. Then, I'll play 10,000 games for strategy equals 2 and print the average score. And so on. This is a simulation. There's no input. I'm not interested in input. I'm just saying, let's do this and see what happens. And we'll print out the answer. Now, this is one way to do it. You could do it mathematically. It turns out that the two come up with the same answer for once, which is good. So, how are you going to do this? Well, I'm going to try to give you an outline. Not all of it, but just enough of it, I hope, so you get some feeling. I'm going to suggest the following. For each strategy, from 1 to 30. Now, I don't know if I said 1 to 30, 2 to 30. I don't care at this point. I'm just saying, here's a loop. So, what am I going to do for that one strategy? Let's write this down this way. Play 10,000 games and compute and print average. And probably strategy number and average. Now that's an outer loop. At this point, I don't have to think of the different strategies. That's only what that one just covers. That loop handles that. I can use the variable strategy within it, because strategy is going to be a variable for the loop. So now I'm going to take this part right here, and now I'm going to put down here, how do I do play strategy 10,000 times and compute the average? Well, here's the answer. I take let's call it initialize strat sum to 0. Now, for 10,000 games, play a game to get its score, add the game's score to the strat sum, and that's it. And then compute and print, no, just compute the average for the 10,000 games. Now, you got the sum. Computing the average means you divide by the 10,000. So now we have what goes inside the outer loop. Perhaps I should say, well, I have to continue too. I made a little, compute the average for the 10,000 games and print strategy and average. All right. Now I've got almost all of it done. I don't have this part. So the next question is, how do I do play a game and get its score? What is that? Now, to do that, I have decided that the best thing I can do for you is to play one. I'm going to play a game. So here is me playing one game. One. And I'm going to make it easier on us, I'm going to assuming that the strategy is 4. So that's my plan. Now, I'm going to do it the following way. I'm going to say, my game score is 0. I haven't done anything, so I've got 0 so far. Roll a die. Suppose I roll a 3. set my number of rows to 1. Now, test. If the number of rows let's say, let's write it this way. As long as the number of rows is less than the strategy, I haven't done 4 rows yet. And that row I got was not 1. That's what I'm going to do. Now bring this down, okay? Bring it down. Well, it's easier to do it this way. What's the matter with me? All right. So I'm going to roll a die. Suppose I roll a 5. Then game score. Then I'm going to add the 5 to the game score. To get 8 in this case. I'm going to add 1 to number of rows to get 2. And now I repeat this. Well, it's true. I'm still less than it. So I roll a die. Suppose I roll a 1. Then my game score is 0. I can do, if you want, I can add 1 to number of rows to get 3, but it's not really necessary. And now, of course, I run the test again. What did I do wrong? Pardon me. All right, that's better. Test is done. Test fails. So my game score is 0. And you notice what it says here. I add the game score to the strategy sum. Now, that's the way to do it. This test, if you'll notice, is a while test. It says, while it is true that my number of rows is less than the strategy, and my row does not equal 1, go again. I keep doing it and doing it and doing it. This method of doing something once outside the loop, rolling the die here, and doing it again inside the loop is a very common approach. Now, that's the way I would suggest to do it. I'm going to switch the due date. I think I'm going to give you to the end of the week because it looks like you're having trouble with it. So that's where we are. I hope this helps. I'd like some feedback. If you think it helps, let me know. If you think you're still totally lost, let me know, and I'll see what I can do about it. So I hope that this gave you some ideas on how to tackle the problem. Now, the only thing wrong is I can't find, oh, there it is. I couldn't find the little thing that said I could end this.